Today, we're going to take a peek at the curious phenomenon where individuals, having established only the most nascent of relationships, rapidly develop an exaggerated sense of their own indispensable value within your pre-existing and evidently incomplete life. We're going to look at the audacious disregard for your deeply forged resilience, your unacknowledged personal history of struggle and triumph, and the fundamental unawareness of the profound depths from which you have previously extricated yourself. Here, we will ponder if this arrogance stems from either profound ignorance, a striking lack of self-awareness, or a calculated, if not clumsily executed, attempt at manipulation. Regardless of the reasoning, it is all ultimately destined for the familiar and well-trodden path of a swift, unceremonious exit. It is with a distinct mixture of perplexity and a weary sigh when you observe the almost instantaneous elevation of new acquaintances to positions of profound, often metaphysical significance within the intricate history of your existence. Barely a handful of shared pleasantries, perhaps a fleeting conversation or two, and lo and behold, they are suddenly blessed with their unparalleled insight into the very core of your being. Your past, apparently a barren wasteland awaiting their luxuriant arrival, is suddenly illuminated by the sheer, blinding light of their presence. Clearly, you were merely existing in a state of suspended animation, patiently awaiting their timely intervention to finally commence living your life. This video does not seek to question the fundamental need for connection, but rather the astonishing speed with which some individuals combine a casual introduction with an intimate understanding of your entire psychological and emotional landscape. It is as if, through some obscure, perhaps quantum entanglement, they have bypassed years of lived experience, emotional processing, and hard-won wisdom to land squarely at the epicenter of your life, convinced that they are the missing keystone. The most striking aspect of this phenomenon is the utter disregard, or perhaps profound ignorance, of your pre-existing fortitude. These newly minted confidants, brimming with their own self-anointed import, seem entirely oblivious to the fact that your very presence in the current moment is a testament to battles fought, scars earned, and victories quietly claimed. They weren't there for the quiet wars fought in the trenches of your own making. They were not present when the world felt like it was crumbling, nor when the shards of a shattered heart had to be meticulously, painfully reassembled. They have no concept of the Herculean effort it took to untangle yourself from love that had curdled into poison, from affections that had mutated into instruments of suffering. They do not know the depth of the yearning, the fierce loyalty, the unwavering commitment that once anchored you to someone who, in turn, offered nothing but pain as their most consistent gift. The decision to walk away from such a profound yet toxic connection was not a whim. It was a brutal excavation of self, a surgical removal of a limb that, though decaying, was still intrinsically yours. The cost was astronomical, a gaping wound in the soul, a redefinition of what forever truly meant, and a profound, bone-deep sorrow. Yet despite the agonizing rupture, the strength was mustered. Your feet, though heavy with grief, still moved forward, away from the endless cycle of hurt. And yet these newcomers, barely having grasped the nuances of your preferred coffee order, presume to understand the wellsprings of your emotional landscape. They, who have not witnessed a single tear shed in the darkness of a lonely night, nor celebrated a single hard-won victory in the silent confines of your own spirit, are suddenly poised to advise, to judge, to define your current reality. Seriously? One must then ponder, Where exactly do they get such a potent cocktail of self-assuredness? Do these individuals possess some innate, almost supernatural ability to gauge psychological strength? Do they truly believe they've stumbled upon an uncharted territory of your soul, previously devoid of sentient life, simply sitting dormant, awaiting their grand exploration? Are your previously established boundaries merely charming suggestions to be playfully disregarded? Do they not grasp the concept of limits, a concept forged in the fires of past transgressions and solidified with the concrete of your self-preservation? Or perhaps they simply don't care. Maybe the grand narrative they've constructed, the one where they are the pivotal character in your journey, is so compelling to them that your actual history, your inherent capabilities, and your very clearly defined tolerance levels are simply inconvenient details to be smoothed over. The question then becomes, do they not know what you are capable of? Do they not understand that the same strength that allowed you to sever ties with a love that had become a relentless source of anguish is still very much intact? Do they not comprehend that the resilience forged in those fires renders their fleeting attempts at perceived importance utterly inconsequential? Let them play their games. Let them indulge in their grand theatrical productions, starring themselves in the leading role of your supposed salvation. Let them bask in the imagined glow of their own indispensability. Because one outstanding truth remains, a truth forged in the crucible of past pain and tempered by the steel of self-worth. You know your own value. You know the depths from which you have climbed, the strength you possess, and the unwavering resolve that has guided you through storms far more turbulent than any they could ever conjure. And just as you learn to walk away from something that promised only pain, you will, with the same quiet determination, walk away from anything that seeks to diminish, disrespect, or fundamentally misunderstand the person you have become. The stage is theirs for a time to converse with the echoes of their own fleeting importance. You, meanwhile, will simply gather your hard-won peace and continue your journey, leaving only memories in your wake. And they, my dear friends, can sit with those and reflect on the limits of their own perceived dominion. They obviously didn't understand that you are a connoisseur of exits and a master at finding peace within yourself.